welcome, brothers and sisters, to a special meeting stream live event in the Lo-Fi live scoring catalog of live events. We're doing the Enchiridion of Epictetus Enchiridion. So if you want to jump forward to the action, there will be a link with a timestamp in the description. And if you're locked in live, well, hold tight, baby. It's about to be beautiful. We're gonna kick things off with a song from another celebrated story. Akira the Dawn of Marcus Aurelius from Meditations Volume 1, the album. A song called Thanks to the Gods.
I had good grandparents, a good mother and father, a good sister, good teachers, good servants, relatives, friends, nearly everything good. And that I never lost control of myself with any of them, although I had it in me to do that, and I might have easily. But thanks to the gods, I was never put in that position, and so I escaped that test. I was never put in that position, and so I escaped that test. And that I wasn't longer raised by my granddad's girlfriend. I didn't lose my virginity too early, and didn't enter adulthood until it was time. Hell, I put it off that I had someone as a ruler and father who could keep me from arrogance, to live in a palace without bodyguards, without fancy dresses or torches or statues or such like show, that you can live much like a regular person, not remiss in action or careless or ruler when carrying out official obligations. I had the kind of brother I did, one whose character challenged me to improve my own, one whose love and affection enriched my whole life, that my children weren't born stupid or physically deformed, that I wasn't more talented in rhetoric or poetry, they could have consumed me if I had seen progress, might never have given them up, that I confide on the people who brought me up, the honors that they seemed to want early on, instead of putting them off since they were still young, with the hope that I'd do it later, that I knew Apollonius and Rusticus and Maximus, that I was shown clearly and often what it would be like to live as nature requires. Thanks to the gods, they did all they could, through the gifts, the help, the inspiration, to ensure that I could live as nature demands. Thanks to the gods, they did all. Cause I didn't pay attention to what they told me, to what they taught me, practically step by step, that my body has held up for so long through such a life, that I never laid a finger on Benedicta or Theodotus. Even later I was overcome by passion, I recovered, even though I often carried regret, cause I never did nothing that I regretted later. I know my mother died young, she spent her last years with me, and if I ever wished to help a man in need, I was never told that I had not the means, that I was never put in that position myself, of having to take something from somebody else, that I had the wife I do, obedient, loving, humble, that my children had competent teachers, and for the remedy shown me in dreams, when I was coughing blood, when my head was spinning. When I had an inclination to philosophy, I didn't fall into the hands of any sophist, that I didn't waste my time on rises of history, or in the resolution of syllogisms, or occupy myself about an investigation of appearances in the heaven. For all these things require the help of the gods and fortune. Thanks to the gods, they did all they could through their gifts to help their inspiration, to ensure that I could live as nature demands. Thanks to the gods, they did all they could through their gifts to help their inspiration, to ensure that I could live as nature demands.
Yeah! What up, though? Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the Meaning Stream. We are broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitch and things, but shouts out to everybody locked in. Tonight we're doing one of our celebrated lo-fi live scoring activities. We're going to be live scoring Epictetus. We are going to be live scoring, and it's going to be epic. Someone sent me a message on Instagram earlier saying they were really looking forward to it and that they played the previous Seneca and Chill. What did they say, 10 times or something? It's always nice to get messages like that, I've got to say. It's very nice to be useful. Speaking of useful, Operation Useful today. Let's get the international high five. Cracking. Let's get the international high five cracking. Yeah. Welcome Raiders on Twitch. Mitch Find, what's cracking, baby? Thank you for coming through. Welcome everybody. And yeah, let's get this thing cracking. We can do the international high five. That's where we work out where everyone's from. And we unite our energies across space and time. Very powerful activity. Scientifically verified to work! Anyway, we're going to be useful today because Mamadan wants to watch something. Mamadan wants to watch something and she doesn't know what to watch. And she would like to watch something great and edifying. Great and edifying. Not something that's going to freak her out or upset her or scare her. It's something, I guess, that will inspire her or fill her with a love for humanity or something like that. I don't know. So drop now in the chat if you are locked in live suggestions of movies for Mamadan to watch that are great and edifying. And, you know, not awash with anti-human horror. Hey! Mitch Fiennes has been a fan for a while, man. Least I can do is a small raid. Yo, there is few things in life more wonderful than a small raid. It's a beautiful thing. And we are grateful you're here and we're glad you're here. Right, Joe. Grateful and glad. Teen Success says Braveheart. Also let me know where you are. It's always good to know where you are. Always good to know where you are. Joe English, what's up, baby? Mikhail, what's up? What's up, Joshua? What's up? Yeah, there's my chat. Okay, let's see what people are saying. Mitch Find, yee! XX Mad Dog is in the house. Teen Success says Braveheart. A great idea. So you know what? I'm not gonna do this stream. I'm gonna go watch Braveheart. Yeah. XX Maddox says Balto. Futuro Alex says go show Mitch Find some love. Yes, do. Or Sivian Melbourne Oz, watch Queen's Gambit. Ooh, Queen's Gambit. What's that? The Queen's Gambit. Someone told me about that before. About young women who play chess. WMIVMD, Life is Beautiful. I mean, it is. Is that a movie? YouTube Hero Alex says smash that like, share that stream link on the socials. Yes! Marcus, something like Flying Castle, yeah. Zach, Boston, Massachusetts. Mamadan should watch the Grand Tour's Seamen. Nothing is more humane and powerful than Jeremy Clarkson behind the wheel of an American riverboat. I mean, I think you're probably right. What could be better than that? Zach says Queen's Gambit on Netflix is amazing. Boondoggles, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Mike Better's Pennsylvania, Enter the Dragon. Obviously. John McGarvey, Saving Grace, Old Ladies That Try Pot. England True Events with Liberties. Such a great concept for anything. Old Ladies, Pot. Incredible. D-Man, Tri-State, Willy's Wonderland is hilarious. Sounds it. Joe English, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I find it difficult with that movie because they ripped me off. One of the characters, they completely stole my look at the time. They never paid me. I was annoyed. Sagittarius, Push-Ups in the Basement, Chariots of Fire. Ooh. Dimitri Telavani, I'm so confused. Are the commenters writing your lyrics tonight? No, they're suggesting a movie for my wife to watch. My wife wants to watch a movie. Well, Sivian says, life is beautiful, it's so epic. Still hits me in that soul spot when I think about it. Marcus says, I meant Howl's Moving Castle. Obviously, everyone knows that. John Hannibal Smith says you could watch the 18 movie. You could. Or you couldn't. You made the remake. XX Maddox says, Agent Carter was a pretty good little series. What a weird thing to remember. It's one of those things that I thought had just been completely lost to the annals of time, you know? It was alright, wasn't it? I did watch that. I haven't watched a telly in a long time, you know. I've not watched a telly in a long time. I don't know where people find the time, frankly. But then everyone isn't streaming twice a day, every day. Speaking of which, I had a lovely time today. Let's talk about that in a minute. Nice. Big Lebowski, says Mikhail. That's a classic. It's a wonderful movie at all times. Zach says Akira Beeblebox, President of the Universe. Yes. Robert Easley, I'm assuming Sam Rockwell's character. Dimitri, Sinek Dosh, New York. Patrick Smith is using one of the new MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone emotes on Twitch. Aren't they nice? Nice. I made that this afternoon. RB Dugan says, Adam's family, great loving family of creeps. Yes. With a wonderful relationship between the mother and the father. They do love each other very much, you know. Oh, they do. Joe English says, It's a Good Life. It is. Or is that a movie? I thought that was a TV show. Or was that The Good Life? I used to love that. All right, there's some movies, Mama Don. Choose one of those. You better be locked in and paying attention. I did tell her to. All right. Patrick Smith, well, let's do it. Charlotte Weebel Naki Pants. Hello, darling wife. She's in the chat. She says, thank you. Wife is thankful for your suggestions. Savage Chill, Massachusetts, Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. It's an anime movie about two people who switch bodies from time to time and improve each other's lives in small ways. Oh, that sounds epic. I have not seen that. What a lovely concept. Mike says, I've been wanting to watch Gladiator lately. We've been trying to watch Gladiator for like 2 years. Oh my goodness. When will we watch Gladiator, Mama Dan? When? You could watch Gladiator now if you like, darling. All right, thank you for your suggestions, everybody. International high five it is. 3, 2, 1. No! Mike Better says, also the original Clash of the Titans. I love the original Clash of the Titans. I used to watch that with my grandfather. Wonderful movie. The original Clash of the Titans. Oh, do you like my wibbly thing? Like my wibbly thing? of those incremental improvements. You know, I've got a wibbly thing. Wibbly thing. And the wibbly thing was kind of inspired today because I was on Hometown Heroes on Tweak Music Tips, you know, with DJ Kova, which was wonderful. I really enjoyed it because it's kind of like a DJ conference on Twitch. It's just all these DJs talking with DJ Kova. He kind of does sort of like DJ on Twitch school, you know. And one of the Twitch DJs, we've got like this wonderful community over on Twitch of because you know we play on Twitch every morning, you know, and we now started also streaming the evening shows on Twitch at the same time. Shouts out to everyone who's on Twitch right now. But we've been doing the morning since May, you know. And we've built up this cool like club over there, you know, and all these other DJs come down, and we've met all these other DJs and befriended all these DJs, and it's really nice, you know. It's this weird thing in real life. A lot of DJs are often kind of mistrustful of each other, or kind of, I don't know. I don't know, actually. There was in Los Angeles, I had a wonderful community of DJ pals as well, now I think about it. But it's very different. People on Twitch are very, very, very supportive of each other. It's really nice. And I was invited on this show today to talk about my experience in this type of thing, which was a really nice conversation. But what was really cool was seeing all these other DJs telling their stories, you know, because all these DJs on Twitch all had the same story, which was Tom Hanks came along, fucking destroyed their livelihoods, you know. And like I always say, I talk about this on Twitch quite a lot because most of my peers in Los Angeles didn't go on the internet. They sort of sat there waiting for things to come back. Things still haven't come back, you know. And one of them I saw jumped on Twitch like last week, you know, finally. But lots of them didn't for lots of reasons. And one of the reasons is just it takes a kind of bravery, you know, to like it's a very different environment. And you going on the internet, a lot of people had this fear that people would steal their transitions and judge them and you know, judge the way they played or their equipment and things of that nature, you know. And the DJs who went on there and, you know, just play all the time and push themselves and learn how to use the complicated thing that is OBS and all this. It's very complicated, this whole thing. Listening to these DJs tell their stories of how they did it and what they went through and the fellowship that they have found in Twitch with all these other DJs and the communities that they've fostered, it was making me quite emotional. I brought tears to my eyes, you know. It was a beautiful thing. So I would definitely recommend going and checking the replay on that one, and you'll be able to replay and rewatch that one. It's on Twitch. It's on the Tweak Music Tips channel, Tweak Music Tips, and like there's just some wonderful stories in there, you know. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, shouts out to DJ Little Fever who got me involved in that. Shouts out to Tweak Music Tips and DJ Kova and all the epic DJs of Twitch and the epic people of Twitch. All of, you know, it's a beautiful thing to exist. You see, you know, we made it work on YouTube. A lot of people just couldn't make it work on YouTube because they didn't have a huge catalog of their own music to play if Susan came yeeting. You know, which is why we've managed to create this thing on YouTube, you know. So we're very lucky, you know, we're able to exist on YouTube and we're able to exist on Twitch. And it's a wonderful thing. Shouts out to all of you guys. All of you guys for, you know, it's been nearly a year now, you know that, right? It's been nearly a year we've been doing this thing, and here we are, baby. Here we are, getting it cracking and making it happen. Having a wonderful time every day, baby. It's a blessing. And still incremental improvements. Here's the thing. See this? Because I was inspired by watching all these DJs and they were talking about all their overlays and how they put in all this work to push themselves and make their streams better. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take an hour to do something I've been wanting to do for ages. I've been wanting to have some effects on me for ages. I'm going to work out how to do it, and I'm going to... And I did. So now I've got a wibbly thing. It's very nice. Mike Vetter says the Maz has been a lovely part of. A lovely to be a part of. A lovely to be a part of. Teen Success says, how's Texas, brother? Texas is great, baby. It's warm again now. It's as if the ice age never came. This time last week it was an ice age and the electric was all gone. What's happened though is I'm going to post it. I was going to post these on my Telegram later. I went for a walk today and took all the pictures of the local cactuses that have all been destroyed by the ice. Just all the cactuses are... But aside from that, where I am in Texas is groovy now. The cactuses are all balked, but yeah. Stefan says, is this a new one like Seneca and Chill? That's right. It is. We're about to do a new live lo-fi live scoring exercise, and we're doing Epictetus tonight, which is going to be wonderful. We're going to do that in a minute. Very excited. The last one came out great.
Akira.
Seneca came out great, you know. So we're about to get that in just a second. In just a second, we're just waiting for everyone to come in. And oh my goodness, my mouse jumped off, you know. Joshua says super excited for Epictetus as well. So the first one was awesome. Actually, we did one unplanned, didn't we? I was doing some DJ set and I was just pulling in random things and started doing that. Simeon Wardle says, do you include Hancock or Watts samples in your live sets, Don? It depends what you mean by live sets. I mean, we did a live set on Monday, a very epic MEANINGWAVE live set, and we played a bunch of Watts and Hancock then. If you mean, do I include little tiny snippets in my club DJ sets? Sometimes I do. Depends what you mean by live set. Oh, hey, here's one thing. I do need to mention we have a new drop. Our drop for this month, we have a new merch drop every month at meaningwave.com, a new capsule, you know. The new capsule just dropped. As you can see on the there. See, we have wonderful new products in the store. We have tie-dye, a wonderful new tie-dye design, the MEANINGWAVE tie-dye design there, very lovely. The link is in the top of the description of this broadcast, you know. We've got a bunch, you know. There we got this lovely tie-dye thing here, very, very nice. Where did it go? Yes, tie-dye, MEANINGWAVE tie-dye. Been wanting some tie-dye for a while, you know? Been wanting tie-dye for a while. Let's have a look at the whole collection, shall we? The 21 February capsule. So yeah, we got this tie-dye. We got the this one's really great. The MEANINGWAVE Rick James Neon Tiger. Neon Tiger, and if you're listening on the podcast, imagine a neon tiger, you know, like red, closer to red, a kind of neonish red. And it's inspired by the lovely blouse that Rick James is wearing on the cover of Cold Blooded, which is one of my favorite albums, you know. So we have that, it's very nice. We've got this very wonderful one here, this I See Everything. It's a panel from an epic old Jack Kirby comic book, and in which the character says, I see everything, and everything moves and makes a kind of beautiful noise. Harmony is the word, Donnie. You're listening to all there is. You see, and it's got all those Kirby crackles. It's very nice. It's very cool. You know, we got the relax and don't give in to astonishment zip-up hoodie, and that also comes in t-shirts and jumpers and all sorts. You know, all of this is made in America by real Americans. You know? Relax and don't give in to astonishment. You know, that's what the Clockwork Elves said to Terrence McKenna and Joe Rogan and other people. Maybe they've said it to you. Have you ever met a Clockwork Elf? Did it ever tell you to relax and not give in to astonishment? Because that's really good advice, you know? It's a really, really good advice. D-Man says, nice collection. They just get better and better. Cheers, Maz. Mike Peters says, those red tiger prints are fire. Yeah. Yeah, you know, we're kicking off the Neo Psychedelic Age proper, baby, with this new drop. So get on over to meaningwave.com and shop the new MEANINGWAVE capsule today. Because it's a beautiful day to be alive. Why not? you go. That was True Wealth Creation, Type Beat, an instrumental from the Naval album. Who wants more Naval? Who wants more Naval? Just a question. We've got a new album dropping this week. The Akira, the Don and Graham Hancock album's about to drop. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful week because it's a wonderful, wonderful album. And with that being said, let's get after it.
The Enchiridion of Epictetus, translated by William Abbott Oldfather, read by Robin Homer. 1. Some things are under our control, while others are not under our control. Under our control are conception, choice, desire, aversion, and, in a word, everything that is our own doing. Not under our control are our body, our property, reputation, office, and, in a word, everything that is not our own doing. Furthermore, the things under our control are by nature free, unhindered and unimpeded, while the things not under our control are weak, servile, subject to hindrance, and not our own. Remember, therefore, that if what is naturally slavish you think to be free, and what is not your own to be your own, you will be hampered, will grieve, will be in turmoil, and will blame both gods and men. While if you think only what is your own to be your own, and what is not your own to be, as it really is, not your own, then no one will ever be able to exert compulsion upon you. No one will ever hinder you. You will blame no one, will find fault with no one, will do absolutely nothing against your will. You will have no personal enemy. No one will harm you, for neither is there any harm that can touch you. With such high aims, therefore, remember that you must bestir yourself with no slight effort to lay hold of them. But you will have to give up some things entirely and defer others for the time being. But if you wish for these things also, and at the same time for both office and wealth, it may be that you will not even get these latter, because you aim also at the former, and certainly you will fail to get the former, which alone bring freedom and happiness. Make it, therefore, your study at the very outset to say to every harsh external impression, "You are an external impression, and not at all what you appear to be." After that, examine it and test it by these rules which you have, the first and most important of which is this: whether the impression has to do with the things which are under our control, or with those which are not under our control. And if it has to do with some one of these things not under our control, have ready to hand the answer: it is nothing to me. 2. Remember that the promise of desire is the attainment of what you desire. That of aversion is not to fall into what is avoided, and that he who fails in his desire is unfortunate, while he who falls into what he would avoid experiences misfortune. If, then, you avoid only what is unnatural among those things which are under your control, you will fall into none of the things which you avoid. But if you try to avoid disease, or death, or poverty, you will experience misfortune. Withdraw, therefore, your aversion from all the matters that are not under our control, and transfer it to what is unnatural among those things which are under our control. But for the time being, remove utterly your desire, for if you desire some one of the things which are not under our control, you are bound to be unfortunate, and, at the same time, not one of the things that are under our control, which it would be excellent for you to desire, is within your grasp. But employ only choice and refusal, and these too but lightly, and with reservations, and without straining. 3. With everything which entertains you, is useful, or or of which you are fond, remember to say to yourself, beginning with the very least things, what is its nature? If you are fond of a jug, say, I am fond of a jug, for when it is broken, you will not be disturbed. If you kiss your own child or wife, say to yourself that you are kissing a human being, for when it dies, you will not be disturbed. 4. When you are on the point of putting your hand to some undertaking, remind yourself what the nature of that undertaking is. If you are going out of the house to bathe, put before your mind what happens at a public bath, those who splash you with water, those who jostle against you, those who vilify you and rob you. And thus you will set about your undertaking more securely if at the outset you say to yourself, I want to take a bath, and at the same time to keep my moral purpose in harmony with nature. And so do in every undertaking. For thus, if anything happens to hinder you in your bathing, you will be ready to say, oh well, this was not the only thing that I wanted, but I wanted also to keep my moral purpose in harmony with nature, and I shall not keep it if I am vexed at what is going on. 5. It is not the things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things. For example, death is nothing dreadful, or else Socrates too would have thought so. But the judgment that death is dreadful, this is the dreadful thing. When, therefore, we are hindered, or disturbed, or grieved, let us never blame anyone but ourselves. That means our own judgments. It is the part of an uneducated person to blame others where he himself fares ill. To blame himself is the part of one whose education has begun. To blame neither another nor his own self is the part of one whose education is already complete. 6. Be not elated at any excellence which is not your own. If the horse in his elation were to say, I am beautiful, it could be endured. But when you say in your elation, I have a beautiful horse, rest assured that you are elated at something good which belongs to a horse. What, then, is your own? The use of external impressions. Therefore, when you are in harmony with nature in the use of external impressions, then be elated, for then it will be some good of your own at which you will be elated. 7. Just as on a voyage when your ship has anchored, if you should go on shore to get fresh water, you may pick up a small shellfish or little bulb on the way, but you have to keep your attention fixed on the ship and turn about frequently for fear lest the captain should coal. And if he coals, you must give up all these things, if you would escape being thrown on board all tied up like the sheep. So it is also in life. If there be given to you, instead of a little bulb and a small shellfish, a little wife and child, there will be no objection to that. Only, if the captain calls, give up all these things and run to the ship, without even turning around to look back. And if you are an old man, never even get very far away from the ship, for fear that when he calls, you may be missing. 8. Do not seek to have everything that happens happen as you wish, but wish for everything to happen as it actually does happen, and your life will be serene. 9. Disease is an impediment to the body, but not to the moral purpose, unless that consents. Lameness is an impediment to the leg, but not to the moral purpose. And say this to yourself at each thing that befalls you, for you will find the thing to be an impediment to something else, but not to yourself. 10. In the case of everything that befalls you, remember to turn to yourself and see what faculty you have to deal with it. If you see a handsome lad or woman, you will find continence the faculty to employ here. If hard labour is laid upon you, you will find endurance. If reviling, you will find patience to bear evil. And if you habituate yourself in this fashion, your external impressions will not run away with you. 11. Never say about anything, "I have lost it," but only, "I have given it back." Is your child dead? It has been given back. Is your wife dead? She has been given back. I have had my farm taken away. Very well, this too has been given back. Yet it was a rascal who took it away. But what concern is it of yours by whose instrumentality the giver called for its return? So long as he gives it to you, take care of it as of a thing that is not your own, as travellers treat therein. 12. If you wish to make progress, dismiss all reasoning of this sort. If I neglect my affairs, I shall have nothing to live on. If I do not punish my slave boy, he will turn out bad. For it is better to die of hunger, but in a state of freedom from grief and fear, than to live in plenty, but troubled in mind. And it is better for your slave boy to be bad, than for you to be unhappy. Begin, therefore, with the little things. Your paltry oil gets spilled, your miserable wine stolen. Say to yourself, "This is the price paid for a calm spirit. This is the price for peace of mind." Nothing is got without a price, and when you call your slave boy, bear in mind that it is possible he may not heed you, and again, that even if he does heed you, he may not do what you want done. But he is not in so happy a condition that your peace of mind depends upon him. 13. If you wish to make progress, then be content to appear senseless and foolish in externals. Do not make it your wish to give the appearance of knowing anything. And if some people think you to be an important personage, distrust yourself. For be assured that it is no easy matter to keep your moral purpose in a state of conformity with nature, and at the same time to keep externals. But the man who devotes his attention to one of these two things must inevitably neglect the other. 14. If you make it your will that your children and your wife and your friends should live forever, you are silly. For you are making it your will that things not under your control should be under your control, and that what is not your own should be your own. In the same way too, if you make it your will that your slave boy be free from faults, you are a fool, for you are making it your will that vice be not vice, but something else. If, however, it is your will not to fail in what you desire, this is in your power. Wherefore, exercise yourself in that which is in your power. Each man's master is the person who has the authority over what the man wishes or does not wish, so as to secure it or take it away. Whoever, therefore, wants to be free, let him neither wish for anything, nor avoid anything, that is under the control of others, or else he is necessarily a slave. 15. Remember that you ought to behave in life as you would act at a banquet. As something is being passed around, it comes to you. Stretch out your hand and take a portion of it politely. It passes on, do not detain it. Or it has not come to you yet. Do not project your desire to meet it, but wait until it comes in front of you. So act toward your children, so toward your wife, so toward office, so toward wealth, and then someday you will be worthy of the banquets of the gods. But if you do not take these things even when they are set before you, but despise them, then you will not only share the banquet of the gods, but share also their rule. For it was by doing so that Diogenes and Heraclitus, and men like them, were deservedly divine, and deservedly so called. 16. When you see someone weeping in sorrow, either because a child has gone on a journey or because he has lost his property, beware that you be not carried away by the impression that the man is in the midst of external ills, but straightway keep before you this thought: it is not what has happened that distresses this man, for it does not distress another, but his judgment about it. Do not, however, hesitate to sympathize with him so far as words go, and, if occasion offers, even to groan with him. But be careful not to groan also in the center of your being. 17. Remember that you are an actor in a play, the character of which is determined by the playwright. If he wishes the play to be short, it is short. If long, it is long. If he wishes you to play the part of a beggar, remember to act even this role adroitly, and so if your role be that of a cripple, an official, or a layman. For this is your business, to play admirably the role assigned you, but the selection of that role is another's. 18. When a raven croaks inauspiciously, let not the external impression carry you away, but straightway draw a distinction in your own mind, and say, none of these portents are for me, but either for my paltry body, or my paltry estates, or my paltry opinion, or my children, or my wife. But for me, every portent is favourable, if I so wish, for whatever be the outcome, it is within my power to derive benefit from it. 19. You can be invincible if you never enter a contest in which victory is not under your control. Beware lest, when you see some person preferred to you in honour, or possessing great power, or otherwise enjoying high repute, you are ever carried away by the external impression, and deem him happy. For if the true nature of the good is one of the things that is under our control, there is no place for either envy or jealousy, and you yourself will not wish to be a praetor, or a senator, or a consul, but a free man. Now there is but one way that leads to this, and that is to despise the things that are not under our control. 20. Bear in mind that it is not the man who reviles or strikes you that insults you, but it is your judgment that these men are insulting you. Therefore, when someone irritates you, be assured that it is your own opinion which has irritated you. And so make it your first endeavour not to be carried away by the external impression, for if once you gain time and delay, you will more easily become the master of yourself. 21. Keep before your eyes day by day death and exile, and everything that seems terrible, but most of all death. And then you will never have any abject thought, nor will you yearn for anything beyond measure. 22. If you yearn for philosophy, prepare at once to be met with ridicule, to have many people jeer at you and say, "Here he is again, turned philosopher all of a sudden," and "Where do you suppose he got that high brow?" But do you not put on a high brow? And do you so hold fast to the things which to you seem best, as a man who has been assigned by God to this post? And remember that if you abide by the same principles, those who formerly used to laugh at you will later come to admire you. But if you are worsted by them, you will get the laugh on yourself twice. 23. If it should ever happen to you that you turn to externals with a view to pleasing someone, rest assured that you have lost your plan in life. Be content, therefore, in everything to be a philosopher, and if you wish also to be taken for one, show to yourself that you are one, and you will be able to accomplish it. 24. Let not these reflections oppress you. I shall live without honour, and be nobody anywhere. For if lack of honor is an evil, you cannot be an evil through the instrumentality of some other person, any more than you can be in shame. It is not your business, is it, to get office or to be invited to a dinner party? Certainly not. How, then, can this be any longer a lack of honor? And how is it that you will be nobody anywhere, when you ought to be somebody only in those things which are under your control, wherein you are privileged to be a man of the very greatest honor? But your friends will be without assistance? What do you mean by being without assistance? They will not have paltry coin from you, and you will not make them Roman citizens? Well, who told you that these are some of the matters under our control, and not rather things which others do? And who is able to give another what he does not himself have? Get money then, says some friend, in order that we too may have it. If I can get money, and at the same time keep myself self-respecting, and faithful and high-minded, show me the way, and I will get it. But if you require me to lose the good things that belong to me, in order that you may acquire the things that are not good, you can see for yourselves how unfair and inconsiderate you are. And which do you really prefer, money or a faithful and self-respecting friend? Help me, therefore, rather to this end, and do not require me to do things which will make me lose these qualities. But my country, says he, so far as lies in me, will be without assistance. Again, I ask, what kind of assistance do you mean? It will not have loggias or baths of your providing, and what does that signify? For neither does it have shoes provided by the blacksmith, nor has it arms provided by the cobbler, but it is sufficient if each man fulfill his own proper function. And if you secured for it another faithful and self-respecting citizen, would you not be doing it any good? Yes. Very well. And then you also would not be useless to it. What place, then, shall I have in the state? Says he. Whatever place you can have, and at the same time maintain the man of fidelity and self-respect that is in you. But if, through your desire to help the state, you lose these qualities, of what good would you become to it, when in the end you turned out to be shameless and unfaithful? 25. Has someone been honoured above you at a dinner party, or in salutation, or in being called in to give advice? Now if these matters are good, you ought to be happy that he got them. But if evil, be not distressed because you did not get them. And bear in mind that, if you do not act the same way that others do, with a view to getting things which are not under our control, you cannot be considered worthy to receive an equal share with others. Why, how is it possible for a man who does not haunt some man's door to have equal shares with the man who does? For the man who does not do escort duty with the man who does? For the man who does not praise with the man who does? You will be unjust, therefore, and insatiable if, while refusing to pay the price for which such things are bought, you want to obtain them for nothing. Well, what is the price for heads of lettuce? An obol, perhaps. If, then, somebody gives up his obol and gets his heads of lettuce, while you do not give your obol and do not get them, do not imagine that you are worse off than the man who gets his lettuce. For he has his heads of lettuce, so you have your obol, which you have not given away. Now it is the same way also in life. You have not been invited to somebody's dinner party? Of course not, for you didn't give the host the price at which he sells his dinner. He sells it for praise, he sells it for personal attention. Give him the price, then, for which it is sold, if it is to your interest. But if you wish both not to give up the one and yet to get the other, you are insatiable and a simpleton. Have you, then, nothing in place of the dinner? Indeed you have. You have not had to praise the man you did not want to praise. You have not had to put up with the insolence of his doorkeepers. 26. What the will of nature is may be learned from a consideration of the points in which we do not differ from one another. For example, when some other person's slave boy breaks his drinking cup, you are instantly ready to say, "That's one of the things which happen." Rest assured, then, that when your own drinking cup gets broken, you ought to behave in the same way that you do when the other man's cup is broken. Apply now the same principle to the matters of greater importance. Some other person's child or wife has died. No one but would say, "Such is the fate of man." Yet when a man's own child dies, immediately the cry is, "Alas, woe is me!" But we ought to remember how we feel when we hear the same misfortune befalling others. 27. Just as a mark is not set up in order to be missed, so neither does the nature of evil arise in the universe. 28. If someone handed over your body to any person who met you, you would be vexed, but that you hand over your mind to any person that comes along, so that, if he reviles you, it is disturbed and troubled. Are you not ashamed of that? 29. In each separate thing that you do, consider the matters which come first and those which follow after, and only then approach the thing itself. Otherwise, at the start you will come to it enthusiastically, because you have never reflected upon any of the subsequent steps. But later on, when some difficulties appear, you will give up disgracefully. Do you wish to win an Olympic victory? So do I, by the gods, for it is a fine thing. But consider the matters which come before that, and those which follow after, and only when you have done that, put your hand to the task. You have to submit to discipline, follow a strict diet, give up sweet cakes, train under compulsion, at fixed hour, in heat or in cold. You must not drink cold water, nor wine just whenever you feel like it. You must have turned yourself over to your trainer, precisely as you would to a physician. Then, when the contest comes on, you have to dig in beside your opponent, and sometimes dislocate your wrist, sprain your ankle, swallow quantities of sand, sometimes take a scourging, and along with all that, get beaten. After you have considered all these points, go on into the games, if you still wish to do so. Otherwise, you will be turning back like children. Sometimes they play wrestlers, again gladiators, again they blow trumpets, and then act a play. So you too are now an athlete, now a gladiator, then a rhetorician, then a philosopher, yet with your whole soul, nothing. But like an ape you imitate whatever you see, and one thing after another strikes your fancy. For you have never gone out after anything with circumspection, nor after you had examined it all over, but you act at it haphazard and half-heartedly. In the same way, when some people have seen a philosopher and have heard him speaking like Euphrates, though indeed who can speak like him, they wish to be philosophers themselves. Man, consider first the nature of the business, and then learn your own ability, if you are able to bear it. Do you wish to be a contender in the pentathlon or a wrestler? Look to your arms, your thighs, see what your loins are like. For one man has a natural talent for one thing, another for another. Do you suppose that you can eat in the same fashion, drink in the same fashion, give way to impulse and to irritation, just as you do now? You must keep vigils, work hard, abandon your own people, be despised by a paltry slave, be laughed to scorn by those who meet you. In everything, get the worst of it, in honour, in office, in court, in every paltry affair. Look these drawbacks over carefully, if you are willing at the price of these things to secure tranquility, freedom, and calm. Otherwise, do not approach philosophy. Don't act like a child. Now a philosopher, later on a tax gatherer, then a rhetorician, then a procurator of Caesar. These things do not go together. You must be one person, either good or bad. You must labour to improve either your own governing principle or externals. You must work hard either on the inner man or on things outside. That is, play either the role of a philosopher or else that of a layman. 30. Our duties are in general measured by our social relationships. He is a father. One is called upon to take care of him, to give way to him in all things, to submit when he reviles or strikes you. But he is a bad father. Did nature then bring you into relationship with a good father? No, but simply with a father. My brother does me wrong. Very well then, maintain the relationship that you have toward him, and do not consider what he is doing, but what you will have to do, if your moral purpose is to be in harmony with nature. For no one will harm you without your consent. You will have been harmed only when you think you are harmed. In this way, therefore, you will discover what duty to expect of your neighbour, your citizen, your commanding officer, if you acquire the habit of looking at your social relations with them. 31. In piety towards the gods, I would have you know, the chief element is this, to have right opinions about them, as existing and as administering the universe well and justly, and to have set yourself to obey them and to submit to everything that happens, and to follow it voluntarily, in the belief that it is being fulfilled by the highest intelligence. For if you act in this way, you will never blame the gods, nor find fault with them for neglecting you. But this result cannot be secured in any other way than by withdrawing your idea of the good and the evil from things which are not under our control, and placing it in those which are under our control, and in those alone. Because if you think of any of those former things to be good or evil, then, when you fail to get what you want and fall into what you do not want, it is altogether inevitable that you will blame and hate those who are responsible for these results. For this is the nature of every living creature, to flee from and to turn aside from the things that appear harmful and all that produces them, and to pursue after and to admire the things that are helpful and all that produces them. Therefore, it is impossible for a man who thinks that he is being hurt to take pleasure in that which he thinks is hurting him, just as it is also impossible for him to take pleasure in the hurt itself. Hence it follows that even a father is reviled by a son when he does not give his child some share in the things that seem to be good. And this it was which made Polynices and Eteocles enemies of one another, the thought that the royal power was a good thing. That is why the farmer reviles the gods, and so also the sailor, and the merchant, and those who have lost their wives and children. For where a man's interest lies, there is also his piety. Wherefore, whoever is careful to exercise desire and aversion as he should, is at the same time careful also about piety. But it is always appropriate to make libations and sacrifices, and to give of the first fruits after the manner of our fathers, and to do this with purity, and not in a slovenly or careless fashion, nor indeed in a niggardly way, nor yet beyond our means. 32. When you have recourse to divination, remember that you do not know what the issue is going to be, but that you have come in order to find this out from the diviner. Yet if you are indeed a philosopher, you know when you arrive what the nature of it is. For if it is one of the things which are not under our control, it is altogether necessary that what is going to take place is neither good nor evil. Do not, therefore, bring to the diviner desire or aversion, and do not approach him with trembling, but having first made up your mind that every issue is indifferent and nothing to you, but that, whatever it may be, it will be possible for you to turn it to good use, and that no one will prevent this. Go, then, with confidence to the gods as counsellors, and after that, when some counsel has been given you, remember whom you have taken as counsellors, and whom you will be disregarding if you disobey. But go to divination as Socrates thought that men should go, that is, in cases where the whole inquiry has reference to the outcome, and where neither from reason nor from any other technical art are means vouchsafed for discovering the matter in question. Hence, when it is your duty to share the danger of a friend or of your country, do not ask of the diviner whether you ought to share that danger. For if the diviner forewarns you that the omens of sacrifice have been unfavourable, it is clear that death is portended, or the injury of some member of your body, or exile. Yet reason requires that even at this risk, you are to stand by your friend, and share the danger with your country. Wherefore, give heed to the greater diviner, the Pythian Apollo, who cast out of his temple the man who had not helped his friend when he was being murdered. 33. Lay down for yourself at the outset a certain stamp and type of character for yourself, which you are to maintain whether you are by yourself or are meeting with people. And be silent for the most part, or else make only the most necessary remarks, and express these in few words. But rarely, and when occasion requires you to talk indeed, but about no ordinary topics. Do not talk about gladiators or horse races or athletes, or things to eat or drink, topics that arise on all occasions. But above all, do not talk about people, either blaming or praising or comparing them. If, then, you can, by your own conversation, bring over that of your companions to what is seemly. But if you happen to be left alone in the presence of aliens, keep silence. Do not laugh much, nor at many things, nor boisterously. Refuse, if you can, to take an oath at all, but if that is impossible, refuse as far as circumstances allow. Avoid entertainments given by outsiders and by persons ignorant of philosophy. But if an appropriate occasion arises for you to attend, be on the alert to avoid lapsing into the behaviour of such laymen. For you may rest assured that, if a man's companion be dirty, the person who keeps close company with him must of necessity get a share of his dirt, even though he himself happens to be clean. In things that pertain to the body, take only as much as your bare need requires. I mean things such as food, drink, clothing, shelter, and household slaves. But cut down everything which is for outward show or luxury. In your sex life, preserve purity as far as you can before marriage, and, if you indulge, take only those privileges which are lawful. However, do not make yourself offensive or censorious to those who do indulge, and do not make frequent mention of the fact that you do not yourself indulge. If someone brings word that so-and-so is speaking ill of you, do not defend yourself against what has been said, but answer, "Yes, indeed, for he did not know the rest of the faults that attach to me. If he had, these would not have been the only ones he mentioned." It is not necessary, for the most part, to go to the public shows. If, however, a suitable occasion ever arises, show that your principal concern is for none other than
Yeah. A pause in our entertainment as the beloved Don laptop just died again and switched itself off, and is now switching itself back on again. Enjoy the blessed pause, a moment to consider that of which has been spoken. A moment to consider that which is within and without of one's control. You shut down your computer because of a problem. I didn't. You shut yourself down, computer. I suppose because of a problem. But that's okay. That's one of those outside the domain of your immediate control things right there, you know. That it worked is wonderful. That it ceased to work is what it is. And we shall continue regardless. Crikey Dell says this has a sweet analog feel. Well, this is... Oh, Maria Lisak just turned up. Maria laptops do seem to have a mind of their own. Yeah. Yeah. Well. We shall return to our session regardless. And it will be good. Shortly. Ah, there you go. Restore. Restore. Lucas says, install Linux. I never see your system crashing again. Do they have DJ software that runs on Linux? Do they have anything that runs on Linux? I honestly don't know. I honestly do not know. Where were we? I think we were here. How are you guys doing anyway? You enjoying that? You enjoying that? Maria says, this reminds me of the time you kept whispering, hey, it's okay, over the top of a Dreamwave set. It was very soothing. I don't remember doing that. That sounds one of those epic moments, you know? Epic moments on the meaning stream. Epic moments on the meaning stream. So many epic moments on the meaning stream, you know? So many absolutely incredible epic moments on the meaning stream. Now, which section were we on? Do we remember where we were? What was Epictetus talking about? Do we remember? Does anyone remember what the last line was? I think I know where we are. Yes, I do. I do know where we are. And you know what? I'm actually going to, because I had it in my mind that this would be one of those sets that would be at some point turned into its own individual, you know, little mini set. Take it out and make it available as audio on its own, or audio and video on its own. Something like this occurring in the middle, you'd have thought that would completely like destroy and derail the whole thing, right? But not necessarily. Not necessarily. The only thing I would have to be able to remember what to do is what piece of music I was playing. I can remember what key I was in. That's very exciting. That's pretty amazing. I can remember what key I was in. And I also worked out which section of the tail. What would you call it? What would you call it? A tale. A tale of good advice. Multiverse Media Space says, loving ASMR Akira in the not so mean time. Isn't it interesting? Certain sets at this point I'd be shouting. You know, we've had this happen a few times, right? A few times. Not too many times. Not too many times. This computer is malfunctioning a little too often these days for my liking, though, and we'll have to do something about that. Might have to take it to the vet. You know, to the vet. The funny thing, the thing about streaming twice a day at 7, when the clock hits 7, is it doesn't leave much time in the middle to fix computers. You know, you've got a little window of opportunity to fix the computer in the midst of all that, you know. But let's see. close. We're close. We're close to being able to reignite this. We are close, brothers and sisters. I hope I hope this makes it all the more, exciting and special. All the more exciting and special. All the more exciting and special.
Goal. 33. Lay down for yourself at the outset a certain stamp and type of character for yourself, which you are to maintain whether you are by yourself or are meeting with people. And be silent for the most part, or else make only the most necessary remarks, and express these in few words. But rarely, and when occasion requires you to talk indeed, but about no ordinary topics. Do not talk about gladiators or horse races or athletes, or things to eat or drink, topics that arise on all occasions. But above all, do not talk about people, either blaming or praising or comparing them. If then you can, by your own conversation, bring over that of your companions to what is seemly. But if you happen to be left alone in the presence of aliens, keep silence. Do not laugh much, nor at many things, nor boisterously. Refuse, if you can, to take an oath at all, but if that is impossible, refuse as far as circumstances allow. Avoid entertainments given by outsiders and by persons ignorant of philosophy. But if an appropriate occasion arises for you to attend, be on the alert to avoid lapsing into the behaviour of such laymen. For you may rest assured that, if a man's companion be dirty, the person who keeps close company with him must of necessity get a share of his dirt, even though he himself happens to be clean. In things that pertain to the body, take only as much as your bare need requires. I mean things such as food, drink, clothing, shelter, and household slaves. But cut down everything which is for outward show or luxury. In your sex life, preserve purity as far as you can before marriage, and, if you indulge, take only those privileges which are lawful. However, do not make yourself offensive or censorious to those who do indulge, and do not make frequent mention of the fact that you do not yourself indulge. If someone brings word that so-and-so is speaking ill of you, do not defend yourself against what has been said, but answer, "Yes, indeed, for he did not know the rest of the faults that attach to me. If he had, these would not have been the only ones he mentioned." It is not necessary, for the most part, to go to the public shows. If, however, a suitable occasion ever arises, show that your principal concern is for none other than yourself, which means wish only for that to happen which does happen, and for him only to win who does win, for so you will suffer no hindrance. But refrain utterly from shouting, or laughter at anyone, or great excitement, and after you have left, do not talk a great deal about what took place, except insofar as it contributes to your own improvement, for such behaviour indicates that the spectacle has aroused your admiration. Do not go rashly or readily to people's public readings, but when you do go, maintain your own dignity and gravity, and at the same time, be careful not to make yourself disagreeable. When you are about to meet somebody, in particular when it is one of those men who are held in very high esteem, propose to yourself the question, what would Socrates or Zeno have done under these circumstances? And then you will not be at a loss to make proper use of the occasion. When you go to see one of those men who have great power, Propose to yourself the thought that you will not find him at home, that you will be shut out, that the door will be slammed in your face, that he will pay no attention to you. And if, despite all this, it is your duty to go, go and take what comes, and never say to yourself, "It was not worth all the trouble." For this is characteristic of the layman, that is, a man who is vexed at externals. In your conversation, avoid making mention at great length and excessively of your own deeds or dangers, because it is not as pleasant for others to hear about your adventures as it is for you to call to mind your own dangers. Avoid also raising a laugh, for this is a kind of behaviour that slips easily into vulgarity, and at the same time is calculated to lessen the respect which your neighbours have of you. It is dangerous also to lapse into foul language. When, therefore, anything of the sort occurs, if the occasion be suitable, go even so far as to reprove the person who has made such a lapse. If, however, the occasion does not arise, at all events show by keeping silence and blushing and frowning that you are displeased by what has been said. 34. When you get an external impression of some pleasure, guard yourself, as with impressions in general, against being carried away by it. Nay, let the matter wait upon your leisure, and give yourself a little delay. Next, think of the two periods of time. First, that in which you will enjoy your pleasure, and second, that in which, after the enjoyment is over, you will later repent and revile your own self. And set over against these two periods of time how much joy and self-satisfaction you will get if you refrain. However, if you feel that a suitable occasion has arisen to do the deed, be careful not to allow its enticement and sweetness and attractiveness to overcome you. But set over against all this the thought, how much better is the consciousness of having won a victory over it. 35. When you do a thing which you have made up your mind ought to be done, never try not to be seen doing it, even though most people are likely to think unfavourably about it. If, however, what you are doing is not right, avoid the deed itself altogether. But if it is right, why fear those who are going to rebuke you wrongly? 36. Just as the propositions, "it is day" and "it is night" are full of meaning when separated, but meaningless if united, so also, granted that for you to take the larger share at a dinner is good for your body, still it is bad for the maintenance of the proper kind of social feeling. When, therefore, you are eating with another person, remember to regard not merely the value for your body of what lies before you, but also to maintain your respect for your host. 37. If you undertake a role which is beyond your powers, you both disgrace yourself in that one, and at the same time neglect the role which you might have filled with success. 38. Just as you are careful in walking about, not to step on a nail or to sprain your ankle, so be careful also not to hurt your governing principle. And if we observe this rule in every action, we shall be more secure in setting about it. 39. Each man's body is a measure for his property, just as the foot is a measure for his shoe. If, then, you abide by this principle, you will maintain the proper measure, but if you go beyond it, you cannot help but fall headlong over a precipice, as it were, in the end. So also in the case of your shoe, if once you go beyond the foot, you get first a gilded shoe, then a purple one, then an embroidered one. For once you go beyond the measure, there is no limit. 40. Immediately after they are 14, women are called ladies by men, and so when they see that they have nothing else but only to be the bedfellows of men, they begin to beautify themselves and put all their hopes in that. It is worthwhile for us to take pains, therefore, to make them understand that they are honoured for nothing else, but only for appearing modest and self-respecting. 41. It is a mark of an ungifted man to spend a great deal of time in what concerns his body, as in much exercise, much eating, much drinking, much evacuating of the bowels, much copulating. But these things are done in passing, and let your whole attention be devoted to the mind. 42. When someone treats you ill or speaks ill of you, remember that he acts or speaks thus because he thinks it is incumbent upon him. That being the case, it is impossible for him to follow what appears good to you, but what appears good to himself. Whence it follows that, if he gets a wrong view of things, the man that suffers is the man that has been deceived. For if a person thinks a true composite judgment to be false, the composite judgment does not suffer, but the person who has been deceived. If, therefore, you start from this point of view, you will be gentle with the man who reviles you, for you should say on each occasion, "He thought that way about it." 43. Everything has two handles, by one of which it ought to be carried, and by the other not. If your brother wrongs you, do not lay hold of the matter by the handle of the wrong that he is doing, because this is the handle by which the matter ought not to be carried, but rather by the other handle, that he is your brother, that you are brought up together, and then you will be laying hold of the matter by the handle by which it ought to be carried. 44. The following statements constitute a non sequitur. I am richer than you are, therefore I am superior to you. Or, I am more eloquent than you are, therefore I am superior to you. But the following conclusions are better. I am richer than you are, therefore my property is superior to yours. Or, I am more eloquent than you are, therefore my elocution is superior to yours. But you are neither property nor elocution. 45. Somebody is hasty about bathing. Do not say that he bathes badly, but that he is hasty about bathing. Somebody drinks a good deal of wine. Do not say that he drinks badly, but that he drinks a good deal. For until you have decided what judgment prompts him, how do you know that what he is doing is bad? And thus, the final result will not be that you receive convincing sense impressions of some things, but that you give your assent to others. 46. On no occasion call yourself a philosopher, and do not, for the most part, talk among laymen about your philosophic principles, but do what follows from your principles. For example, at a banquet, do not say how people ought to eat, but eat as a man ought. For remember how Socrates had so completely eliminated the thought of ostentation that people came to him when they wanted him to introduce them to philosophers, and he used to bring them along. So well did he submit to being overlooked. And if talk about some philosophic principle arises among laymen, keep silence for the most part, for there is great danger that you will spew up immediately what you have not digested. So when a man tells you that you know nothing, and you, like Socrates, are not hurt, then rest assured that you are making a beginning with the business you have undertaken. For sheep, too, do not bring their fodder to the shepherds and show how much they have eaten, but they digest their food within them, and on the outside produce wool and milk. And so do you, therefore, make no display to the laymen of your philosophic principles, but let them see the results which come from these principles when digested. 47. When you have become adjusted to simple living in regard to your bodily wants, do not preen yourself about the accomplishment. and so likewise, if you are a water drinker, do not on every occasion say that you are a water drinker. And if you ever want to train to develop physical endurance, do it by yourself and not for outsiders to behold. Do not throw your arms around statues, but on occasion, when you are very thirsty, take cold water into your mouth and then spit it out, without telling anybody. 48. This is the position and character of a layman. He never looks for either help or harm from himself, but from externals. This is the position of the philosopher. He looks for all his help or harm from himself. Signs of one who is making progress are: he censures no one, praises no one, blames no one, finds fault with no one, says nothing about himself as though he were somebody or knew something. When he is hampered or prevented, he blames himself. And if anyone compliments him, he smiles to himself at the person complimenting, while if anyone censures him, he makes no defense. He goes about like an invalid, being careful not to disturb, before it has grown firm, any part which is getting well. He has put away from himself every desire, and has transferred his aversion to those things only of what is under our control, which are contrary to nature. He exercises no pronounced choice in regard to anything. If he gives the appearance of being foolish or ignorant, he does not care. In a word, he keeps guard against himself, as though he were his own enemy lying in wait. 49. When a person gives himself airs because he can understand and interpret the books of Chrysippus, say to yourself, if Chrysippus had not written obscurely, this man would have nothing about which to give himself airs. But what is it I want? To learn nature and to follow her. I seek, therefore, someone to interpret her, and having heard that Chrysippus does so, I go to him. But I do not understand what he has written. I seek, therefore, the person who interprets Chrysippus, and down to this point there is nothing to justify pride. But when I find the interpreter, what remains is to put his precepts into practice. This is the only thing to be proud about. If, however, I admire the mere act of interpretation, what have I done but turned into a grammarian instead of a philosopher? The only difference indeed is that I interpret Chrysippus instead of Homer. Far from being proud, therefore, when somebody says to me, "Read me Chrysippus," I blush the rather when I am unable to show him such deeds as match and harmonize with his words. 50. Whatever principles are set before you, stand fast by these like laws, feeling that it would be impiety for you to transgress them. But pay no attention to what somebody says about you, for this is, at length, not under your control. 51. How long will you still wait to think yourself worthy of the best things, and in nothing to transgress against the distinctions set up by the reason? You have received the philosophical principles which you ought to accept, and you have accepted them. What sort of a teacher, then, do you still wait for, that you should put off reforming yourself until he arrives? You are no longer a lad, but already a full-grown man. If you are now neglectful and easygoing, and always making one delay after another, and fixing first one day and then another, after which you will pay attention to yourself, then without realizing it, you will make no progress, but, living and dying, will continue to be a layman throughout. Make up your minds, therefore, before it is too late, that the fitting thing for you to do is to live as a mature man who is making progress, and let everything which seems to you to be best be for you a law that must not be transgressed. And if you meet anything that is laborious or sweet, or held in high repute, or in no repute, remember that now is the contest, and here before you are the Olympic Games, and that it is impossible to delay any longer, and that it depends on a single day and a single action whether progress is lost or saved. This is the way that Socrates became what he was, by paying attention to nothing but his reason in everything that he encountered. And even if you are not yet a Socrates, still you ought to live as one who wishes to be a Socrates. 52. The first and most necessary division in philosophy is that which has to do with the application of the principles, as, for example, do not lie. The second deals with the demonstrations, as, for example, how comes it that we ought not to lie? The third confirms and discriminates between these processes, as, for example, how does it come that this is a proof? For what is a proof? What is a logical consequence? What contradiction? What truth? What falsehood? Therefore, the third division is necessary because of the second, and the second because of the first, while the most necessary of all, and the one in which we ought to rest, is the first. But we do the opposite, for we spend our time in the third division, and all our zeal is devoted to it, while we utterly neglect the first. Wherefore we lie indeed. 53. Upon every occasion we ought to have the following thoughts at our command. Lead thou me on, O Zeus and Destiny, to that goal long ago to me assigned. I'll follow and not falter. If my will prove weak and craven, still I'll follow on. Whoso has rightly with necessity complied, we count him wise and skilled in things divine. Well, O Crito, if so it is pleasing to the gods, so let it be. Anytus and Melitus can kill me, but they cannot hurt me.
There you go. Epictetus Enchiridion. MEANINGWAVE, what's on Amazon? Make some noise. Shouts out to everyone locked in live. YouTube, what's up? Twitch, what's up? ThinkSpot, what's up? That audio there was from the excellent Vox Stoica. The link will be in the description of this broadcast. I will add it as soon as I am not here. Big shouts out to Vox Stoica. That was the Enchiridion, or Handbook of Epictetus, a short manual of Stoic ethical advice compiled by Arrian, a 2nd century disciple of the Greek philosopher Epictetus. Although the content is similar to the discourses of Epictetus, it is not a summary of the discourses, but rather a compilation of practical precepts. Eschewing metaphysics, Arrian focused his attention on Epictetus' work applying philosophy in daily life. The primary theme is that one should accept what happened. Thank you once again, Vox Stoica. Ra! Big shout out to my laptop for dying in the middle of that and then coming back to life magically. We witnessed a resurrection, brothers and sisters, a resurrection. There was no 3 days of fannying around in a cave. My little guy got right back at it, you know? You got knocked down, you got back up again. That tub-thumping little bad boy. Make some noise for him. Make some noise for this laptop. He was born in 2012, I do believe. Something like that. Indeed, he was. He was born in mid-2012. This is Silver Miracle, who has how many streams has he done? So many streams, so many hundreds of streams, so many hundreds of streams, and he's only fallen over a couple times. How are you feeling out there? How did you enjoy that? Thank you for all the support during that. Thank you, Maz Martin, for the $5 super chat. Says, Maz has changed my life for the better. Keep positive and impacting others' lives. God bless you. You are breathtaking. Welcome new member Simeon Wardle. Welcome to level 1. Remember, those on the level 4 and 5 tiers of the YouTube and Patreon will have their name in the credits of the Graham Hancock album that is dropping tomorrow night. Blimey, that came around fast. Lord Jeezy the Truth, thank you for the support. Thank you, Missy Helms. Thank you, Crikey Dial. Thank you, Miss Ibiza. Congratulations, Jaholby on Twitch for 3 months of Jaholby. Says, woo! Looking to 3 more months with trippy visuals like the Akira traces. Shouts out to my incremental improvement there in the tracer realm. Traces. Which ones do you like best? Do you like this one? Or do you like this one? Which one do you like best? 1 or 2? Put the 1s and 2s in the chat. 1 or 2. Let me know which one you like. You can put 1, 2 if you like both of them. Thank you, Luke. Says, love you all. You are breathtaking, Luke. God bless. God bless you, Luke. Aye. How is it out there for you guys? Let's see, we got 1s, we got 2s, we got 2s, we got 1s. There is no clear, concise lecture. Oh, maybe 2s getting there. 2s, 1s, 2s, 1s, 2s, 1s, 2s, 2s, 2 1s. There you go. They're both great. They're both great. They're done in completely different ways, different methods. This one, I made 3 versions of myself, you know, and I made them different colors and things, and no, I didn't. I just bathed in miracle water, you know, and that's what I look like in miracle water. And the light from this side of the spaceship makes my miraculous persona in this fashion. All that happened here was that, you know, I just shone, you know, the light on myself in such a fashion that my true nature is apparent. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's the true nature. That's all it is. And speaking of which, someone wanted me to read something, you know. There was a humble request. A humble request. 2076 says, Akira, can you read us this Adam Smith quote? Well.
And watch them drift by.
This is a quote. This isn't me making this up.
If you use your imagination, you could see lots of things in the cloud formations. What do you see in the clouds, Charlie Brown? Well...
The great source of both the misery and disorders of human life seems to arise from overrating the difference between one permanent situation and another. Avarice overrates the difference between poverty and riches, ambition, the between a private and public station, fame, glory, the between obscurity and extensive reputation. The person under the influence of any of these extravagant passions is not only miserable in his actual situation, but is often disposed to disturb the peace of society in order to arrive at that which he so foolishly admires. The slightest observation, however, might satisfy him that in all the ordinary situations of human life, a well-disposed mind may be equally calm, equally cheerful, and equally contented. Some of these situations may, no doubt, deserve to be preferred to others, but none of them can deserve to be pursued with that passionate ardor which drives us to violate the rules either of prudence or of justice, or to corrupt the future tranquility of our minds, either by shame from the remembrance of our own folly, or by remorse from the horror of our own injustice. Yo, that's bars! That's bars right there. Bars right there, 2076. Sheila357, hello. Says, really enjoyed you on the podcast today, Akira the Don. Hey, thank you, Sheila. I enjoyed going on the podcast. I spend so much time just here, you know, in this context with you. It's nice to be in a slightly different context. It was nice to be in a slightly different context. 2076, nailed it. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Shout out to my mum, you know, she taught me to read. It was my mum who taught me to read. Yeah. 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 Hey, 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 hey. Ah, the meaning stream, what a magical place. Here we are every day. In the morning, we engage in epic club-style activities on Twitch. In the evening, we engage in these epic activities. And it's always an absolute joy. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow, we shall be back. Tomorrow, we shall be back. Ooh. I believe tomorrow night, excitingly enough, is everyone's favorite super request show. I can't believe it's Thursday already. Everyone's favorite super request show, the request in which you can use the super chat function and get a request, any kind of song you want. And that's always an exercise in gleeful, anarchic, edge, straddling glory. We're out there on the edge, you know, right there on the edge with you and all your incredible requests. So I'm looking forward to that. That one is always an edge of Akira the Don's seat pants ride. And afterwards, after that, we'll be enjoying the premiere of the new album from Akira the Don and Graham Hancock. That came around so fast. We will be enjoying that tomorrow. So get ready for that. By the way, we're lacking some likes. We're a few likes short of our required amount of likes. I don't even know why it's required. It's symmetry, I believe. It's symmetry. Symmetry is important. Timothy Delgado, thank you for the support. Says, I love you, brother. You are breathtaking. I love you too. God bless. Make some noise, MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone. For thyself. Who said I'm talking about mosh? We moshed this morning. This morning was our mosh set. Last night we spanned the wheel. The wheel landed on mosh and low this morning. Did we or did we not mosh? Who was there? Let the people know what happened this morning. Let the people know the truth. Mel Paradise says, I'm late to the party. I was cleaning my apartment. Mel Paradise, you do understand that we provide the finest room apartment cleaning music known to man. Tonight we Epictetus Enchiridion. That's really good cleaning music. You have to catch it on the replay. Maria Lizak says somebody lost a shoe. Is that why my computer blew up? Maria Lizak with your superpowers. Robert Easy says it was an epic march. Skeptic Rise says I was there, we went in, we marched intergalactically. Ain B says it was an awesome start to the day. Robert Easy says it was bear. Bear what? It was bear powerful, yes it was. How many Mosh records were there? Bear. How many uppercuts were there? Bear. How many Bearman songs were there? One. Could have played more. I really like Bearman. Bearman's got a song called Drinking Beer, where he plays upon the fact that if you say it in a certain way, the word bear and the word beer sound very similar. That was basically his whole thing. It was a great thing. A great thing. You know, not all careers are meant to last forever. Some ideas just burn brightly for 6 months, and that's that. And that's fine. That's fine. What did your boy Epictetus say about, we all have our role to play. Just like any role, some are short, some are long. The thing to do is to play that role to its utmost. With all your heart. Give it everything you got, baby. Go all in. Ow! All right. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel hero Alex. He's a wheel hero. Wheel human being and a wheel hero. There he goes. Oh wheel. What will happen now? Go fast! Oh, it's an epic Go Faster set! Tomorrow on Twitch, it's an epic Go Faster set. We did one of those a couple of weeks ago. Oh, that's exciting. Do you know what that means? It means we start at one speed and we just keep increasing the speed. It's 3 days of hype. This is possibly Ill Ink's doing. Do you remember Ill Ink came here the other day? I think it was Monday, and she's normally at the morning shows, And she said, "Oh my goodness, this evening show is so hype. This is so much more energetic than the morning shows." And some of us thought, we have had some very, very energetic morning shows. Don't know what you're talking about. And then we have 3 days of ridiculous hype. Maria Lizak says last time we got up to 171 BPM. We did, didn't we? I wonder how high we can reach tomorrow. I think it's probably pretty high, I think it's probably pretty high. If DJ sets were Towers of Babel, this one is going to go so high, it's going to piss God right off. You know what I mean? We're going to get this set so high in the BPM range, God himself is going to come down and split us all up and give us different languages. The MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone will be speaking 17 different tongues by the end of tomorrow's set. That's how high in the BPM range we gon' go, baby. We're going to go so high in the BPM range, our heads will be squashed against the very firmament itself. We'll be poking it, you know what I mean? Pew, pew, pew. You know what I mean? We'll be so high in the BPM range, Elon Musk will be aiming rockets at our collective ass. That's what's going on tomorrow morning. And I am excited to get up and get after it with you. One more time. Maybe a few more times. MEANINGWAVE Zone. Have you noticed I'm still a bit ASMR? It was such a kind of chill set tonight that even at this point of the night, after a wheel spin, I am still at this level of relative chill. And with that being said, it's time to get out of here. If you're on Twitch, let's go raid somebody, hey? Let's go jump in another club. And if you're on Twitch, we got a new emote we can use. And it'll let people know where you come from. It says M-A-Z. You can use it. You can all use it. If you're a member of the channel. That is. Hurrah! And if you want to go raiding right now and you're part of the mob, the YouTube mob, and most of you are, Twitch's VIP room in the evenings right now, as we build in the evenings. Head on over to twitch.tv/Akira the Don right now. Jump in the teleportation device, and we're gonna go jump in someone else's club. Are you ready, Twitch Hero Alex? Are you ready, Twitch Hero Alex, to engage in glory? Red team just jumped in. Nice to see you there, Red team. Nice to see you. Nice to see all of you. Mason says, yo, check out Akira the Don's ASMR channel. I might start in. Hi, I'm just going to talk really quietly and occasionally tap the microphone. This is the sound of a microphone. Sounds really nice. Tujiro Alex says we're ready. That's good news. We're ready, baby. Let the people know the truth. MEANINGWAVE exists. And also, go shop that epic new merch collection at MEANINGWAVE.com. It's time for a by 5. 3, 2,